This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Actually back as an official win streak for your Milwaukee Brewers. A wild roller coaster game to the finish line as Christian Yelich walks it off for the Brewers in a 5-1 win over the Boston Red Sox. Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Stein. Welcome into the Locked On Brewers postcast. Lots to get caught up on today. You can follow me at Twitter at Brandon_Stein. Follow all of my work at WTMJ.com. And as always, thanks for always making Locked On Brewers your first listen each and every day. A lot to get to. Aaron Civale making the start for the Milwaukee Brewers, his second start of the season. Christian Yelich, and I've mentioned it before, as he goes, so does this team. That was proven tonight with the walk-off grand slam, and absolutely no doubter. But it was also what he did in the ninth inning. We'll get to a little bit of that. And the Brewers did win, but let's pump the brakes just a little bit because there are some concerning numbers when it comes to this offense. But nonetheless, my goodness, what another much needed victory for your Milwaukee Brewers. Now 3 wins in a row. We had talked about this game, about this series, the start of this series being the do or die point in your season, the beginning of their do or die point in your season. And they kick it off on Sunday with a win in Pittsburgh, a much needed win in Pittsburgh to split that series. And they get 2 in a row against the Boston Red Sox. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow. Of course, your reaction, your thoughts, your comments, your questions welcomed on the program. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. The Brewers getting the 5-1 win, now 28-28 on the season, back at 500. Can they get their head above water? We'll discuss all of it. Your scoring summary real quick. Not a lot of scoring, but it's brought to you tonight by Supply House. There was a lot of scoring. Just waited till the end of the game. The 6th inning, a wild pitch from Aaron Ashby. It should have probably been caught by William Contreras. That leads to a Boston lead in that 6th inning. They would take that lead all the way into the 9th inning, 1-0. And the guy that won the game for you tonight got it going in the 9th inning, Christian Yelich, a leadoff double off Chapman. He would eventually steal third base. Sal Frelick, the summer of Sal, rolling on. An RBI single to center field would score Yelich. The Brewers would stall there. It would end the 9th inning tied at 1 apiece. In the 10th inning, you got real quick. Let's give a round of applause for the Brewers pitching staff in its entirety. Aaron Civale, 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 hits. Aaron Ashby, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit. No runs. Jared Koenig, 1 inning pitched, 1 hit, no run. Grant Anderson, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs. And Rob Zastrinsky, maybe your unsung hero of the game, coming in on the top of the 10th inning and getting the Brewers out of a jam. Got those final 2 outs in the 10th inning without allowing a run to plate in that 10th inning. And that would bring up the final inning for your Milwaukee Brewers. Bryce Terang would lead off with a single. That would move Joey Ortiz, who began the inning, at second base, obviously in extra innings. He would go to third. A couple of walks, and Christian Yelich, holy smokes, an absolute no-doubter. A big reason why this Milwaukee Brewers team won. And without further ado, let's get into your player of the game in a Milwaukee Brewers 5-1 win over the Red Sox.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
2 for 5 at the plate tonight. Getting it going in the 9th inning for this Milwaukee Brewers offense with the leadoff double. He would eventually tie the game. He would score 1-1 going into the 10th inning. And holy smokes, that bottom of the 10th inning, Christian Yelich with the grand slam, the absolute no-doubter. As soon as it left his bat, Jeff Levering on the television broadcast knew it. Lane Grindle on the radio broadcast knew it. Everybody knew that ball was out of the ballpark as soon as it left the bat for the former NL MVP and the MVP for tonight's game. The MVP, the most valuable Brewer, Christian Yelich, getting the honors as the Brewers get back up to 500 with the 5-1 win. As always, your thoughts, your comments, your questions, maybe some of your concerns, all welcomed on the program. We start with our everydayer leading us off. Nick, without a doubt, Yelich's player of the game. Honorable mention, Rob Zastrinsky. Yeah, the bullpen and really the pitching staff in general was absolutely fantastic. They were all really, really good. Aaron Savale fired up a couple of defensive gems from this Milwaukee Brewers team. Sal Frelick, we mentioned his RBI in the ninth inning, also gunning a guy out from right field to secure the double play early in the game, a pivotal moment. Aaron Savale fired up, slamming his glove. The bullpen and the starting pitching has not been the issue for this team, and it continues to not be an issue for this team. And we mentioned Aaron Ashby, Jared Koenig, Grant Anderson. We mentioned Rob Zachinsky, Aaron Savale getting the start tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers, going 5 innings and allowing just the 1 earned run. They have all been, for the most part, fantastic. The bullpen's had its moments, but they're extremely overworked. But for tonight, and again, this wasn't a very pretty win. You got the win. It was an awesome way to win. A walk-off grand slam, is always the best way to win a game when you're going to extra innings. But we got to get some consistency at the plate for your Milwaukee Brewers going forward, especially as our schedule tends to get tighter. The Brewers now 2-2 in extra innings. But the bad part about tonight's game, and I don't want to cast a shadow on a win, especially when it's a guy like Christian Yelich, who has struggled all season long at the plate, just 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 guys on base. They didn't leave any on base, though, in that 10th inning, as Christian Yelich walks it off for the Milwaukee Brewers as they get their 3rd win in a row, a 5-1 win over the Red Sox. They'll go for this sweep tomorrow, and I don't care about winning 2 out of 3. I know that's what everybody tells you to do, have a chance to get into playoffs and have a chance at your division at the end of the year to win 2 out of 3. This is a Red Sox team that is reeling, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a Milwaukee Brewers team that I don't want to say they're catching a little bit of fire because it's only 3 wins in a row. They could have easily have won a few more in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. Go for the sweep tomorrow. Go for the sweep. Anything less than that tomorrow, a day game at American Family Field before an off day, to me would be a letdown. Go for the sweep. Cody over on YouTube. Maybe this win tonight possibly turns them around and they go on a roll. I'm more pumped about them pitching out of that mess in the 10th inning. You got to give the MVP tonight to Christian Yelich for 2. I mentioned the 2 reasons. He ties it. He gets the game. He gets the offense going in the 9th inning with that leadoff double off of Aroldis Chapman. He eventually would score on a Sal Frelick single to center field. Then obviously the bases are chucked for Christian Yelich after William Contreras popped out and there was 1 away in that bottom of the 10th inning. Then the absolute no doubter to left center field. You got to give the MVP to Christian Yelich for those reasons. But holy cow, you guys, this pitching staff this evening, and we had gone through the numbers for the Boston Red Sox. I mean, they're top 10 throughout Major League Baseball, not just the American League, top 10 in baseball in runs, hits, RBIs. Like, this is a good offense. Now, obviously, Alex Bregman not being in the lineup for this team might change those numbers, but coming into this series, this was a really good offense that the Boston Red Sox had. But now you got them on the ropes, and we have mentioned about this Brewers team not taking advantage of having teams on the ropes. They have an opportunity tomorrow. Again, you go for the sweep. You get rolling in the tough part of your schedule with a 4-game win streak going into a day off. You get some guys some rest. Trevor McGill getting the rest, obviously, today, not needed. Grant Anderson, Jared Koenig, Aaron Ashby, and Rob Zastrinsky holding it down out of the bullpen as Aaron Savale goes 5 innings pitch, allowing just the 3 hits and the 1 earned run, and he struck out 4. An absolutely fantastic performance from the pitching staff. The offense, again, there's questions, there's worries. Those aren't going away. We've had those really consistently throughout the course of the season, and tonight was really no different. But when the money was on the table, the Brewers cashed in, and that is something we have been waiting for and looking for. They got a break last night too. Yesterday afternoon on Memorial Day, the Eric Haas swinging bunt in that I think it was the 8th inning that gave them that extra 3-1 that 1-run lead, that 2-run lead, added a run to what the lead they already had. Provided a little bit of cushion for that Brewers team, and they won that game 3-2. So these breaks are starting to kind of add up a little bit for this Milwaukee Brewers team as they get another much-needed win. And I'm going to keep saying it. It's going to sound like I'm being repetitive, but every win from here on out is much needed until you can kind of get your head above water and get settled in. Jamie on YouTube, Yelich had a great series in Pittsburgh off day yesterday, then came back and did what he did tonight. I don't want to jump the gun, but maybe he may be back. Again, this isn't a knock at William Contreras. This isn't a knock at Jackson Chourio. But when the Brewers decided, and probably rightfully so, to allow Willy Adames to go for the money that he signed, this team's offense was going to be carried in one way or another by Christian Yelich. It was either going to be dropped at the starting lineup or he was going to carry them from, the starting point to the finish line. And this is what we've seen. When Yelich's bat is going, this Brewers team is just way more potent going forward. And hopefully this is something that gets Christian Yelich going. And hopefully this is something that gets this team going. We had talked about, it just didn't look like they were having a lot of fun. Like even when they do something good, Christian Yelich had a home run in Pittsburgh the other day, last weekend, and just didn't seem to kind of really enjoy it and was kind of more relieved than anything. Maybe this is kind of what gets this team going. And hopefully that is, because this is, again, a tough part of their schedule after the Boston Red Sox Game 3 at American Family Field tomorrow afternoon. Peter over on YouTube, glad to get back to 500, but with a tough 2-week stretch coming, need a sweep tomorrow and head to Philly on a high note. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding. Perfect. Absolutely. Could not agree more. I understand winning 2 out of 3 is kind of, a good standard to have. Yes, when you're not crawling yourself out of a hole that you dug yourself into, that's a great, logic to live by. Unfortunately for this Brewers team, they dug themselves a little bit of a hole early part of the season, crawling back out of it slowly but surely. The last thing you want to do is get your head above that hole tomorrow afternoon and then fall right back in. And then you're back down to a game under 500. And again, I don't want to be looking too far into the standings and looking at the National League Central, but the Cubs keep winning. The Cardinals keep winning. You have to maintain pace. The Phillies, the Cardinals, the Cubs, who else? The Brewers, the Padres, their schedule, the Reds, who as of late have been playing a little bit better, kind of like the Brewers, a little bit up and down, but their schedule does tighten up a little bit. So these are pivotal wins that you have in front of you, potential pivotal wins. And it starts tomorrow with an afternoon game against the Boston Red Sox. Go for the sweep. That should be the standard. Lots more to get to. Lots of your reaction. We'll get to all of it coming up right after this. The show tonight brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, whether you're in HVAC or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every single order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it is your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com. Again, that's supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Here's the deal, guys. Use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. Why is that cool tonight? Because the Brewers beat the Boston Red Sox 5-1. So if you use SH5, you get 5% off of your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Again, supplyhouse.com/TM. SH5 is the promo code for 5% off your first order. Once again, supplyhouse.com. The Milwaukee Brewers getting the walk-off grand slam from Christian Yelich to win at American Family Field 5-1 over the Red Sox, now 28-28 on the season. Boy, did that feel good if you got to be Christian Yelich. And really, if you're looking at this game from Pat Murphy's standpoint, because it felt like, and again, I've been critical of the decisions from manager Pat Murphy, but it feels like tonight was one of those nights where the strings that he pulled just seemed to work out for him. We talk about Rob Zastrzynski late in that game, pulling Grant Anderson, inserting Zastrzynski, allowing him to get those final 2 outs in the 10th inning, which helped secure the tie ball game going into the bottom of the 10th. And Christian Yelich would do the rest with the 5-1 win over the Boston Red Sox. Now 3 in a row for your Milwaukee Brewers. Trinidad on YouTube. Wow, wanted it to be Joey, but needed it to be Christian. Just needed to get his timing right. I was hoping it was going to be Jackson if we're going to start naming names in the bottom of the 10th inning. But again, either one of those guys, like, you just needed something to kind of spark this team. Christian Yelich had felt good in the bottom of the 9th with that leadoff double. Jackson Chourio had a double in this game. But it felt like it needed to be one of those two guys that hopefully get this team going into the right direction offensively. And again, not a great night for the Milwaukee Brewers at the plate. They do get the 5-1 win. It's just a situational baseball for this team. They finished the night with 7 hits, but 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position, and they left 8 on base. So if there's something to kind of be leery about and something to kind of keep your eye on, it's obviously that situational baseball that we've been talking about. Drum over on YouTube. Yelly needs to keep getting hot. It could be the turning point of this season. This in general, regardless of Yelich gets hot or not, is going to be your turning point for the season. And we had talked about their schedule on a number of occasions. We had just mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but it's going to get a lot tougher right after this series against the Boston Red Sox. This is why going for a sweep tomorrow at American Family Field in the Game 3 finale, the afternoon finale with Freddie Peralta on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers. I don't want to be, hyperbolic and say it's a must win, but it's a must win. Like, go out there and win. You have your best pitcher on the mound, or one of your best pitchers, at least starting pitcher, Logan Henderson. Don't want to take anything from him, but Freddie Peralta has been really good over the course of the young season, and you have an opportunity now to kind of get yourself going into the right direction. You have 3 games against the Philadelphia Phillies, 3 against Cincinnati, and 3 against the San Diego Padres. That rounds up your next week or two. So it's not easy, right? It's not easy to play in Philly. It's certainly not easy to play the San Diego Padres right now. You've had some good luck, some good fortune in Cincinnati, but again, it's a team, Elly De La Cruz, who's continued to be a thorn in your side and is not going to roll over for you, especially as the Reds are kind of in the same position right now as your Milwaukee Brewers as they improve to 500 on the season. Jacob on YouTube, I guess what Mark A meant by summer of fun and entertainment, close, high anxiety games that come down to these moments. We'll take it for now. Again, you enjoy the win, enjoy every win, and enjoy the moments when a guy like Christian Yelich, the former NL MVP, the guy that's carried you to multiple postseasons, who's been sort of in a slump kind of all season long, up and down, delivers for you, and has delivered not only once in the 10th inning, but got you going to get to the 10th inning in the 9th inning with that leadoff double, and would eventually score the tying run and then bring everybody home in the bottom of the 10th for the grand slam. Pablo over on YouTube. I like the process and the team up players. The pitching in the 10th inning was great. Maybe we made for the playoffs, but with money in the team base will be great. Yes, there's a lot of things that can go into, obviously, what this Milwaukee Brewers team is going forward. What they can do right now is control. It's going to sound like very cliche. Control what you can control. You have an opportunity tomorrow to beat a team that is literally looking for anything right now. They're searching for something. The Boston Red Sox are reeling. I'm going to go back and look at their record. I believe it's 4 in a row, maybe 5 in a row now that they have lost. It's an opportunity for you to end your very, very short homestand. You got your longest one of the season coming up a week or so after tomorrow, but it's an opportunity to kick off the toughest part of your schedule in the way that you couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. So it's 4 in a row now for the Red Sox. So the Brewers can take care of them for number 5 in a row for them with a win tomorrow at American Family Field. Nick on YouTube, I feel you, Brandon. A sweep is needed to stack the wins in case of a mid-season slump. God forbid. They cannot afford at this moment in time a mid-season slump. I mean, the pace that the Cubs are on, the pace that the St. Louis Cardinals are on. We had talked about how tough it is in the National League to just get into the playoffs. I just don't think the Brewers can afford a slump right now. 6 games back in the National League Central as it stands right now. Again, not everything final, but as it stands right now, I don't know if you can afford to go in a slump. I don't know if you're going to get those wild card opportunities in the National League. I mean, they're stacked out west. They're stacked in the East. It's not stacked in the East, but they're tough in the East. Again, your Central is also stacked right now as the Brewers now trail the Cubs and the Cardinals in the National League Central. A good win for your Milwaukee Brewers. Every win here on out is a good win, but a much-needed exercising of the demons type win for Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers as they go on for the extra inning grand slam walk-off winner 5-1 over the Boston Red Sox at American Family Field in Game 2 of their 3-game series. They'll go for a sweep tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see if they can get it done before a day off and they head out to Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. My thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in over there on YouTube. My thanks to all of you for always making Locked On Brewers your first listen each and every day. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on Twitter at Brandon_Snide. You can hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. And of course, get Locked On Brewers, Chuck Freeman and myself, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, all those good places. We'll talk again soon as the Brewers get the 5-1 win, their third in a row. They'll go for win number 4 tomorrow afternoon. And as always, tonight's a good night. It's a walk-off winner, baby. But as always, win, lose, or draw, it's always go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone.